So ganglion blockers is under the concept that you have a first neuron, you have your second neuron, and then finally you have the one that gives you has your receptors for your alpha 1, beta 1, I don't want to, yeah, I'm going to skip alpha 2, beta 2, like that. Ganglion is right here. So ganglion blockers are going to inhibit your autonomic system at that point. So like if you inhibit this one, then none of these signals will be passed on, all right? So you're blocking it earlier, but here's the thing. They will, memorization point, memorize these two facts. It will become a lot easier for you. What it does, it blocks predominant tone. Technically, it blocks everything that's autonomic in terms of it technically blocks everything kind of autonomically, but specifically, think of it as predominant tone. Like it blocks specifically predominant tone. Just think of it that way for now. And I'll explain myself a little bit later. Very soon. All right, so the next thing is it blocks reflexes. Because think about it. In order for you to tell your autonomic system to do something, so like you have a receptor somewhere here, and then like it has to go down this chain, it has to somehow go through a ganglion in order to have any sort of reflex. And this is where I'm going to talk about the reflexes in a little bit. But think of ganglion blockers as they block predominant tone, and then they also block reflexes. And what I mean by reflexes, and specifically these, is going to be reflex tachy, and Brady. And this is where I'm going to start talking about your reflexes and what happens with predominant tone. All right, so first thing, I'm going to talk about the reflexes, because the reflexes are important to understand what the ganglion blockers do. So you are all good at this now, I hope. So here are some tracings. I'm going to give you this tracing. I'm going to give you a systolic, and I have a diastolic over here, and then it's like this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you an alpha agonist agonist here. So alpha agonist, what it's going to do is it's going to be vasoconstrict or vasodilates. Constricts. So constricts increases your heart rates. Both of them go up about the same exact amount. And then it goes like that. Okay, so this is going to be blood pressure. But something else happens. So if you have a higher blood pressure, your body's like, stop, it's too much. I need to slow it down. The blood pressure is too high. It's not healthy for me. So what does it do? It has to do something with heart rates. Does it decrease heart rates or increase heart rate? Decrease heart rate. So remember that equation that I talked about before. The blood pressure is a function of total peripheral resistance, and it's stroke volume times heart rate. Well, I mean, if your blood pressure goes up way too high, your body's like, I need to do something to bring it down. And the only way that I can bring it down is heart rate. Okay, so heart rate. So heart rate is usually going to be, I'm going to say, like, once again, it's going to be around 70. And then all of a sudden, alpha agonist hits you. Vasoconstriction, blood pressure too high. What happens to the heart rate? Down. Down. Maybe it drops down to like 50 or something like that. I mean, the numbers don't really matter. Just know that they drop. Heart rate goes down. What is that called? Is it a reflex tachy or Brady? Brady. Okay. All right, let's do another one. I'm going to just move this thing over here away. All right, let's give another one. I'm going to do beta 2, and then you'll get the idea. So beta 2, what does it do? Vasodilates. Vasodilates, it will decrease both of them equally. Your blood pressure is really low right now. What's your heart going to do in terms of heart rate in order to increase it? It's going to increase it. And then that's going to be reflex tachy. So you can really take a look at the other ones I have, and you can really determine yourself whether they have some sort of reflex at all. So I'm going to just go back to the other one just to show you. Let's look at this one over here. Is that going to have reflex tachy or reflex Brady? Reflex Brady. I'm going to do it this way. What about this one? Yeah, it's going to have a little bit of reflex Brady. It's not going to be a lot, but it is going to have a very little. All right, how about this guy? Tachy, reflex tachy. What about this guy? Tachy, good, got it. Okay, so here's the cool thing. So I'm going to take this guy over here, and then I'm going to say, all right, how did this happen? This yellow one over here, how did it happen? What happened to the body? Yeah, why? Because someone injected some sort of acetylcholine into your vasculature. Now, here's the thing. What if the first thing I did was I gave you acetylcholine? It's going to look like this, right? The blood pressure, what's it going to do? Reflex tachy, reflex Brady? Reflex tachy, like this, okay? So this is going to be heart rate. All right, this is heart rate. It's going to be reflex tachy because your heart rate your blood pressure went down. Remember, these are blood pressures. Okay, so now I'm going to give you a ganglionic blocker. There's going to be like 3 or 4 that you have to memorize. Stu's going to have a chart for you, like hexachromolinium. Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 of them. So ganglionic blocker, and I'm going to add a ganglion blocker on top of the acetylcholine. All right, so what's going to happen? Is anything going to happen to your blood pressure at all? No. Do you know why? Because muscarinic is not your predominant tone, so nothing happens. But it does happen because you have reflex tachy. So what does the ganglionic blocker do? Your heart rate is going to stay the same because it eliminates all reflexes. Alrighty? So in this case, if you had, okay, I'll just draw this one. This is normal, this one. And this is going to be ganglionic blocker. Got it? How about this? I'm going to give you another example. I'm going to give you another example. I'm going to say that your heart rates, your blood pressure, I'm going to just say your blood pressure, is going to be 120 over 80. I'm just going to leave it like that. All right? So what happens if I gave you a ganglionic blocker? Does your blood pressure go up or does it go down? It eliminates predominant tone. If you eliminate alpha from the equation, okay, alpha usually constricts, usually brings the blood pressure up. But what, wait, did I mess up? Did I mess up? Predominant tone for, okay, yeah, so I didn't mess up. All right, so alpha 1, if you block out alpha 1, what will happen? Okay, alpha 1 usually brings your blood pressure up, but now since you gave the ganglion blocker, it's going to go down. It's going to go down very little or a lot? A lot, okay? Okay, that's